Shalom, shalom. Get this right. Shalom. All right. Shalom, we are the Hebrew Israelites who come in week and week out to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great. And you see it. You see this thing in free fall. And we are here. I mean, no other way else to say it, all right? So let's get to it. All right, we're almost done here. The famine is coming quick. You can see it, all right? Because they got us the frequency of truth. All right, the frequency of truth is on the scene. All right, the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Okay, the spirit of prophecy, the testimony of Yahweh Shai, the frequency of truth is on the scene, which hath long so been without fruit. Okay, that's the frequency of truth. All right. This devil tries to call it the Christ consciousness. Yeah, nigga. All lies are being exposed. Anyway, we face the East. Oh, we are the Hebrew Israelites coming week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of the devil and his kingdom, Babylon the Great, right? Wake up the 12 tribes of Israel, the people on the sign who are today known as the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Similarian, and Speckled Bird. Get you to repent, acknowledge your offense, pray for forgiveness, and get back in order. Right? Because there is no time left. There's only mercy. Right? The doors of mercy are slamming. And you know the days are speeding up. So anyway, we face the East. Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Bahashim Akakwada. All right, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us its truth. This is Shabbat Shalom. Salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. Salaki, and it is the Shabbat, all right? Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All right, so anyway, the frequency of truth, right? Because you can't have this chaos, right? You can't have chaos without prosperity, right? You can't have good without the bad. So where's the good? As the world that we know falls, free falls into evils, okay, well, what's the opposite? The world of Israel. Who is the world of Israel right now anyway? That would be the elect of Israel, right? Just point at the elder apostles on down, right? And you're looking at the elect of Israel, Lord willing. So that world is simultaneously coming up. Now there's a battle, right? There's battles and tests to be had. But just as you see this devil going down, the kingdom is coming. Who's the kingdom? The elect of Israel, right? So there's no doubt about those two things. Yes, tests. Yes, trials and tribulation. But the cream rises to the top, right? Well, that's what's going on right there. Gotta be tried. Gotta be whipped first. Whipped cream. That's why they call it whipped cream. You gotta take that whipping. And then you're gonna rise to the top, meaning to them chariots, and we're the hell up out of here. And things will be set back straight in righteousness. And we got a big job to do. But first, we got to get through the battle of the bulge. So anyway, the frequency of truth, the new song. Okay, now, what are we watching right now? Those that cannot hold the frequency of truth. Okay, the frequency of truth is if your vessel cannot contain that frequency, that's why a bunch of so-called brothers, it's time for them to go, right? This is the frequency of truth. Can no longer adhere, what is it? Adhere to sound doctrine. They will no longer adhere to sound doctrine, something like that. Let me try to find that. Gotta go to the apparatus. I had some stuff set up, but gotta go around it as duty calls. Let's see. Will no longer cling. What is it? Will no longer hold. Will no longer hold no longer hold to, stop running from me, to sound doctrine, right? What does that mean? Sound, what is sound doctrine? Well, that's a certain sound. No, not that. Sound meaning the truth, meaning the frequency of truth. Sound doctrine, D-T-R-I-N-E, KJV. Salakia for me going a long way, but that's the way it's. 1 Timothy, for the time will come. Woo! Endure. Okay, now I said this. 2 Timothy 4, and I believe it starts at 3, but this is what I said earlier out of my mouth. They can't contain the frequency of truth. Right now, it has been, when we learn this truth, right, you have to grow in this truth. When you get it, it's served to you in a way that you can, the Most High doesn't give you more than you can handle. Okay, so you're going to come in with some milk. Some brothers get put out right away because they want to eat meat, right? No, everything is measured, right? And so you come in and then you grow in this thing, and the thing is growing. You have to grow with it. Here we are at the end, right? And those that can't measure up, what are the measurements? The frequencies of the new song, okay? The new song is such that if you can't grow with it, like the old bottle, for example, okay? There's a relationship between volume, how much, frequency, right? And the container, okay? And so, when a man falls out of the truth, right? His container can no longer hold that frequency, right? Because the frequency is growing. The truth is growing. Look at all the people coming into the truth. Look at the comment boards, right? When the Dilbert guy, right, and I know I'm going left, but when the Dilbert cartoonist suddenly is, oh, okay, well, let me run to Christ now. And then Jake is sitting there, who's going to tell it, right? Jake is all, who's going to tell it? Because everybody knows now, right? So the frequency of truth has gone out. Look at the four winds being let go right now. What does that mean? That means that the elect have pretty much been sealed, because what are we seeing? We're seeing the beginning of everything. So here come the four winds being let go by those angels that were holding it back. What does that mean? It means that the elect have been sealed, and now we're about to see the real show. Okay? So there's a purge going on. Why? Because those that were never really in this thing, the jig is up, right? Some of you came in, right, through your homie. Oh, my homie was doing it, so I got in, and I've been in ever since, right? And some of you are men of the Lord. Okay? But then there are different ways. For example, the way that I came in, the Most High laid me flat, right? I'll never forget, in '07, I was going through a divorce after 16, 17 years. So I was being laid bare, right? Being completely laid bare. And then to the point I was like, okay, well, now what? What is my next course of action going to be coming out of this? You know, what am I going to do moving forward? So that became, well, you know what? I'll look for I'm going to go on a hunt for Jesus, but it's got to be black Jesus, right? This is in '07. So early '08, guess what? I found it. Or I was hot on the trail. Came through, shit, I can't remember. Can't quite remember if it was IUIC, came through that, you know, whole mess. Just, you know, window shopping, whatever. And whenever I saw that at the end of the lesson, out came the pocketbook, out came the, what do they call it? You know, I don't even know what they call it. I'm so old. The number, what's the little number they give? Cash App. Oh, now here's the Cash App if you want to learn. I was like, ah. So anybody that came in at that time, you know, right? If you understood the vibration, see the vibration of the truth, it doesn't have to do with money. It doesn't have to do with stacks. It doesn't have to do with being a nigga in the world. None of those things. So when you see that in the truth, you're like, I thought that's what we got out of. And then in comes Sakari. But anyway, the point being made, I was at such a low point. I went looking for the truth. I had no friends. Nobody introduced me to the truth. I went looking for black Jesus, if you will, right? And then found the name, and then followed the name, right? And there's some stumbling blocks in there. Nate is a stumbling block. Here he is teaching the name. Here he is over here denouncing the name. Which one is it? He's IUIC. He's whoever he was. Brother Nathaniel Alaga, as the stories are told, right? But you still have some discernment, right, to do to get here. Here we are. And the things that I've seen, you know, personal testimony, and I'll get back to the scriptures, but the things that I've seen to be right here and to be able to say what I'm saying right now, I'm more than a believer. We'll put it that way. All right, as far as belief goes. I'm just curious as to how the Most High is going to use an old man and what is about to transpire. And you know what? Come what may, whatever it may be, then that's what it is. Hell, martyr sounds good to me. You know, let's do it. Frequency, the frequency of truth. Okay. 2 Timothy 4:3, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. That's yeah, that's good. See, I wonder what that says in the let's look at that in the NLT. Take a look at that in the NLT. Wow. 2 Timothy 4:3 in the NIV. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. Starting with Sakari, starting with Genesis, or whatever they're calling themselves right now. NLT, for a time is coming when people will no longer listen to sound to sound and wholesome teaching. What is sound and wholesome teaching? It's the 100% truth. It's a frequency, right, of truth. It's a pure frequency. It's a pure sound. It's known as, in the scriptures, it's known as the new song. If you're singing it out of frequency, out of pitch, if you will, a frequency is a different pitch. If you're not in the right frequency, you're not singing the new song. Okay? Now, the new song is back. The point being made, the new song, which hath gone so long without anyone hearing it, okay, that's back in the earth now. And the world, right, is aligning itself. Now, it has to reverse the course that it's been on, because it's in free fall, hurtling, right, into disaster. So, but starting to correct itself means that it's going to slowly start to slow down before it starts going back the other way, if you understand. Physics, if you will. But if you ain't right in any capacity, your body can't contain pure truth, 100% truth. The truth needed in our bodies at this time, before we go up and things change, the new covenant, right? In order to contain that level of truth, the new covenant, which everything is programmed inside of us, right? In order to perform at that level, that frequency, your body has to. We can't perform that in these bodies, which is why we're rehearsing those acts, because we can't do it. It's physically impossible to contain that frequency, right? We're singing the new song. What is the new song? The new song is about the kingdom, and the kingdom will have new bodies, holding the frequency of truth, all of it, not just a portion of it, not just in part. Okay? Meaning what? Okay? Those that can't hold the frequency, the portion that we were given right now, they're falling off. They're changing the they don't really say that. And that's what this is saying. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. Esau knows exactly, here's what their itching ears want to hear. They want to hear that. Esau's not mad if you say everybody can make it. Therefore, you're not going to the gallows. See, right now it's time to go to the gallows. And whoever's scared, they're switching it up. You don't have the frequency of truth. You're like, oh, well, the truth ain't all that important. It ain't, white man ain't the devil no more because I don't want to die. That's basically what you're saying. I'm not ready to die because this man gave me some money and I do want to spend it. Hell, if I had a heart attack, I could afford a new heart right now. Showing that you have zero faith, right? And you never believed in this truth. It was just a get-rich-quick scheme for you, blackhead. But see, this is breaking it down, Salakia. This is breaking it down. Anyway, I'm going to get to where we're at in this thing. Let me read the NLT. For a time is coming when people will no longer listen to sound and wholesome teaching. What is sound and wholesome? It's a particular frequency. It's the new song. It's in key. People don't like it. Oh, I like my shit a little out of tune, like the blues. Tune it all the way, and then the bottom string E. Detune it just a little. Yeah, nigga, because you're wicked. They will follow their own desires and will look for teachers who will tell them whatever their itching ears want to hear. But having itching ears, they will accumulate for themselves teachers to suit their own passions. Right? Their passion is to hear it just a little out of tune that they're aligned with. Oh, that feels good. It's not the straight and narrow. It's foul. It's a little foul. It's not quite, I don't have to quite measure up. There's room for cheating in there. You understand? When you see somebody making allowances for ambiguity and deception, you ferret that shit out. I see you right there. Getting you some wiggle room together right there because you're a rebel, right? And you call that out. So the frequency of truth right now is ferreting niggas out. All right. Going to, let me read this real quick. 2 Ezra 6. Just going in the spirit, and then we can play that thing where it's got to be a psyop. This is 2 Ezra 6 and 28. As for faith, it will flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, the frequency of truth, the new song, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. What shall be declared? That particular frequency is going to be heard in the earth again. We're hearing it now, and it's changing everything. This is, let me see if I can find this. Damn it. Oh, it's a lot. Oh, it's not going to give it to me. What if I can go back? Bear with. Oh, yeah. Okay, 2 Ezra 6 and 28 in the GNT. Faith will grow strong. Corruption will be overcome, and truth, which has not produced fruit for so long, will make itself felt again. What do you feel, right? When you got an ice cream truck, which we used to call it in the 80s, which is a truck with a big system in it, right? Got the big, huge, 18s in the back or whatever. You have a whole club in your truck, right? And you go through and shake. We like the cars that go boom, right? That's how old I am. But it says, and the truth which has not produced fruit for so long, or been heard to work its, not its magic, but what it does, produce fruit, will make itself felt again. That's a frequency, the frequency of truth. And the truth which has not produced fruit for so long will make itself felt again. Oh, the Christ consciousness, or the spirit of prophecy, the testimony of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. The testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. We're out pushing that, prophesying, right? So that testimony, right? That frequency, the words, they are spirit. That spirit, right? Christ consciousness, if you will, is doing what? Salaki, what the hell? This is not where I was. I was in the Apocrypha first. Where did that, here we go, Salaki. It says, all right, this is 2 Ezra 6 and 28, again in the GNT. Faith will grow strong, corruption will be overcome, and truth, which has not produced fruit for so long, will make itself felt again. That's a frequency. All right? What is a frequency? Frequency is a wave. How many times that wave, how frequent does that wave go in a period of time? Okay? Which is where music comes from. Going back to the speakers in the cars that go boom, frequency, right? When you get a 808 kick drum, it's at this subharmonic frequency that causes tension and make a nigga go out and do some crazy shit. Well, that's not the frequency that we want. We want the frequency that brings harmony. We want the frequency that brings harmony with Yahushua. Okay? The new song. You understand? 2nd Ezra 6 and 28. In the GMT, faith will grow strong, corruption will be overcome, and truth, which has not produced fruit for so long, will make itself felt again. Okay? And that's what we're out here doing, right? It says, they will overcome him by the, what is it? The word of his mouth and the brightness of his coming. I believe I'm paraphrasing, but it's the frequency, right? The frequency of truth is what this devil, right, who is incongruent. Okay, so something that is correct and direct, this devil can't roll with it. It defeats it. Okay, he has to have, back in the 60s, in the Batman days, right, Adam West, when they would go to the bad guy layer, like the Riddler, whenever they went to the Riddler or the Penguin or something, that shit was slanted. Right? That shit was slanted to make you think that they were somehow the bad guy, when really those were the superheroes, right? But those are the Israelites, right? Anyway, point being made, the truth is back on the scene. And if you ultimately, if you're not aligned with the truth, right? The truth is where the secret place is. What are we going into right now? All right? This is what all the brothers are saying. Okay. Here's what's coming out. Well, it doesn't matter if it's a psyop. It doesn't matter, how we got here. What matters is that it's happening. Okay? Because we know that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is controlling this devil, right? So if he got a psyop rolling, ultimately that's Yahweh Shem Yahushua leading this devil's steps. We understand that. So it doesn't matter, what was the psyop and da-da-da-da. Left against right and all that is going down. And we already know the outcome. See, here's the thing. We know the outcome. Right? So is it happening that way? Yep. Oh, it's going down. All right. So let me play this. See if I can get it. This thing happens to be acting like it's trying to work right. This is from GMS Watchman, the brother, I believe, over in England, I think. Forget his name. Is that the one they call I forget now, the one that Ariella, Elder Ariella does with the Rakaya Kwum. Quiet Kwum. I'm guessing Salaki, I don't even know, I'm destroying it. But Rakwum from England. I believe that this is him. If not, then Salaki or somebody correct me. But the interview with, it looked like somebody said it was either a Japhetite or he could be a Northern Kingdom. He looked like a big old Gadite. But sounds like he's being sincere. Sounds like he's being sincere. And it doesn't matter. What matters is that they're pushing this out everywhere. So this is where we're at. This interview with this guy, and he's being very precise in what he's saying. He's being very clear.
Being involved in a car accident can create chaos in your life.
And I will say,
damage, healthcare costs.
Damn, look at that.
Welcome everyone. Welcome back.
I didn't even do that. 1846. Yep, right there. I'm going to play this, and then we'll talk about it. Because what they're doing with this is where we're at. This is where we're going today. What he says, right, is what they want. Why? How do we know that this is what the powers that be, this is what they want now, right? We have to show up with guns. That's the title of the brother, GMS Watchman. The title of his lesson is We Have to Show Up with Guns. And he goes into, he's got a 20-minute lesson, but I'm just getting to the main part of the interview. Because what this guy is saying, he said, we have to do this now. He's right. If you wanted to stop what is about to happen, you would have to act now. He's right about that. Is that going to happen? No, not according to the scriptures, because we already know the outcome of this. All right? We know what is about to happen. Meaning, his solution right here didn't happen. This thing went down bad. Civil War bad. Okay? Before the missiles come. It went down, America went down bad from within, according to the scriptures. And then the missiles hit. Okay? That's called Jacob's trouble. America went down bad. The experiment spiraled out of control. The motherfuckers just went after each other. And it was, And then suddenly, before you know it was over. And that was Make America Great Again. Boom. That's what God said, do what? Make what? What? Boom. And right now we're in. Right before boom. Boom. Hit play.
Until November. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box.
Woo. So if this is a psyop, right, what he just said is, we got to do this now and it's going to happen. We got to go out and bring fire with fire. That's what he's saying. Fair use and all of that. All right. Of course, you're going to try to make it out that I said this. I ain't said none of that. All right. 62-year-old man over here. I'm not doing none of that. Okay, I'm not fighting for nobody. No, I'm not doing it. All right, I got this book in my hand. I got to go out like that, so be it. I'm gonna try to dial this back a little bit and get the whole thing. Okay, let's see.
So let me just play that back a little bit, and that'll be it.
We're there. We're there. This is the dark place. This is the dark time. We have people being sent to Salvadorian concentration camps. We got other countries being raided for their oil. We're in the dark time. There's no way out of this. There's no voting our way out of this.
Right.
We can't wait till November.
He's right.
There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box. That's the only way.
He said there's no way to get to the
He's
ballot
right.
box. You know, talking about the voting, we need to get to the bullet box. Again, we have to go back.
So if that's a
Second
psyop,
Ezra's
I don't know where he's going.
15 and verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people.
Oh yeah, so we're there. Okay, 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, we're there. Okay, now, what's being said? Here's what's being said. Well, that could be a psyop. That could be AI, which it could be. That could be a crisis actor, which it could be pushing what? What he's talking about. We need to have that everybody should be packing, and now you got to fight fire with fire. I'm not saying that because that's not what we teach. Okay? You do you. All right? I'm going to do what I'm instructed to do right here, which is to hold fast to these scriptures. Okay? That's the only fighting I'll be doing is with these scriptures. Okay? And not in any physical way. He said so many things, right? He said so many things, and that's what they're pushing. Okay? So anybody should know moving forward that we're here. Okay, why? Because the powers that be said that this is where we are now. Okay? This is where we are now going into World War III. That's what the powers that be said. How do I know that? They're pushing this. Let me see if I let it go. They're pushing this everywhere. Right now. So they're pushing this
Stand up to fight against another.
on
That's
the
your
internet.
class wars, your race wars. It says, and swords in their hands. The guns that's going to be in these people's hands. Because all hell is breaking loose.
We're in the dark time. There's no way out of this. There's no voting our way out of this. We can't wait till November. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box. That's the only way. If there was another way, I'd be advocating for it. I've spoken peacefully. I've marched peacefully. I've marched without sharpening.
Anyway, I'm out. Shalom.
Okay, so somebody came back and it was Skeletor said that. I forget the name of his preparedness. What is it? Something. Let's go to that. Let's go to Skeletor real quick. Because what he said is full spectrum survival. Skeletor said in his video with that guy that this is being pushed all over the internet. What does that mean? That means that is what the powers that be want. Let's see what Skeletor says here. So like bear with
checking account in 2 minutes. Will spot you up to $200.
Bear with me.
Apply now.
A bad position.
Have to. There's no other way around it. I don't care if I don't have a Minnesota carry permit. I'm unarmed right now, but this is the last time I show up to face these guys without a weapon. There's no way. I got shot with a pepper ball 5 minutes after walking in here. I never laid a finger on them. I never raised a hand to them.
He comes across.
My voice.
He comes across.
Is over. The time.
He comes across as being very genuine. All of this seems very real, so it's gonna garner whatever they're pushing it out to be. Listen to his response as he says, the internet is pushing this everywhere. Watch.
The time for niceties is over. The time for peace is over. They fired the first shot. It is time to end this shit by any means necessary.
You're talking about, potentially going to a dark place in this country. Do you foresee...
We're there. This is the dark place. This is the dark time. We have people being sent to Salvadorian concentration camps. We got...
Okay, so let's break this apart a little bit, right? You have an individual here, and I don't have him identified. Let me make sure that nobody else has him identified. So I don't have him identified here, but this individual, if you show up at a protest, and that protest starts to tip toward unrest, It is law enforcement's job to push back against that potential
That's his.
tipping point.
That's his
And so then they
opinion.
fire pepper spray. They fire off water cannons. They use means of shows of force to make sure everybody stays in their lane, keeping it a peaceful protest. This guy, obviously, he's already made his mind up. He says it right here in this video. He will not show up to another protest without being armed.
That's what they
Now,
want.
you and I, as intelligent individuals, we understand that that means he should never show up to another protest again. But is that going to stop him? Absolutely not. And so when they're saying these individuals actually believe in their heart of hearts that we are under martial law tyranny, complete crackdowns against freedom, the Constitution is null and void. That's their belief system,
It's
because
true.
that is what they are being brainwashed with by either media or certain politician.
What do we know as men of the Lord? What do we know that's coming? Much worse than that. So, could he be on to something? Not only is he on to something, he's over the target. And had they done, right, what the Second Amendment is designed for, right? It's designed for this. But we know, right, through the new song, how this thing is going to go. All right, it's going to go this way. All right.
Now, if you peel the potato skin back a little bit and you look at Minnesota and you see Tim Walz and all of the fraud that he has perpetrated.
Watch, Skeletor's on it. Okay, now this is 8 hours ago. The video that I made yesterday goes back further than 8 hours, and my theory goes back before whatever he's about to say, right? But he's going to connect these riots, right? George Floyd in Minnesota, he's going to connect that. If he doing what I did, he's connecting that to the fraud. The riot is covering the fraud, right? That's what we see going on.
You can start to see that maybe everything that's going on right here is because he doesn't want to go down for it. Can you believe for one moment that we had our...
He's talking about Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. But if he's doing that and been able to do what he's been doing, or what they've been doing since 2013, buck doesn't stop with him. It goes all the way to the top, and they're all involved in it, and they're all profiting from it. And now it's scapegoat time. So whoever we see being named, starting with the Somali, they're the first scapegoat. And then the second one is the white girl, I forget her name, Molly Ringwald. And then whoever after her, Tim Walz, then it'll go to Kamala Harris, and then it'll go, because Trump's involved in it too. How long have they been suppressing these investigations? And who has been doing it? It goes all the way back to 2013. So you don't know about the prior investigations, Mr. President, that won in 2016? Of course you do. You know about the whole operation. You're involved in it. So there's only so much that you can point and say, well, Tim Walz is the bad guy. Tim Walz is the bad guy. Because you don't want the truth about that coming out any more than you want Epstein coming out. Whatever's going on in Minnesota goes way beyond Tim Walz. It goes way beyond Donald Trump. Okay, this is some real funneling, money washing. That's whatever that Minnesota thing that they're calling fraud. That's a big one. That's up there, bigger than Epstein. It must be some trafficking. It must be some, because they will start a whole riot and call it George Floyd that goes all the way around the world, and a German or a nigga in Portugal has never given a fuck about a nigga high on drugs or whatever you want to call the story. Suddenly, they're marching overseas, and I'm like, something else is going on here. All about a nigga in Minnesota. Right now, the same thing is going on, right? Hey, everybody, we need your attention about this little white girl that got shot in the face, whether she did or not. But what we are doing is we're distracting you from the investigation. Why did they send the national? Why did they send ICE down there in the first place? See, you got to think about it like this. Donald Trump sent ICE to Minnesota in numbers. Why? Because Minnesota wasn't letting the investigation go through. So Donald Trump said, I'm going to send ICE down there because what is the investigation supposedly about? It's supposedly about Somalis. So that brings in immigration. So I'm going to send in my goon squad because really, what is the goon squad? They're going to grab the fucking information and burn it because Trump's in there. And Walls is like this, no, I got the information, so they're fighting over something that they're both involved in. You understand? They're all involved in it. They're all involved in Epstein. It's not no left-right thing. There's a fight, there's a faction thing, but it's not a left-right faction. It's a skulldugger, it's a cloak and dagger faction. It's a Knights Templar against Illuminati faction, whatever they fucking call themselves. It's a sectarian fight within themselves. It's a civil war within the clandestine factions that call themselves whatever the fuck they call the Chaldeans, whatever. So anyway. Many civil wars are happening. That's Esau being torn apart from within.
The biggest distraction that the American people have ever seen.
Why?
They already saw that they can't do it with a pandemic.
Why does Minnesota need the biggest distraction that people have ever? This is bigger than Epstein. Whatever's going on in Minnesota, watch the video I made yesterday about the duffel bags of millions of dollars going through that airport, going back to 2013. That's a few presidents ago. So they're all in on that. All right, wait till the real story comes out there. Oh, it was Tim Walz. Oh, it was Molly Hatchet or whatever the fuck they're down there pointing. Is the big head Somalian? No. They're the scapegoats. Okay.
We've already seen
What the fuck was
that we are not going to allow more riots like we had back in early 2020s. And so what's their next step? Escalation. With that escalation comes so much violence that you and I have to be prepared for just going out into the streets of your city to become a dangerous mission. And what I mean by that is it doesn't mean every fight immigration enforcement. This is the type of threat that must be controlled.
Pop quiz for anyone who's been in a car accident. True or false? Most cases end up settling anyway. So you should.
Skeletor said?
Yes, we got.
Listen to what he says.
Okay, so let's break this apart a little bit, right? You have an individual here, and I don't have him identified. Let me make sure that nobody else has him identified. So I don't have him identified here, but this individual, if you show up at a protest and that.
I want the part where he says, this is going out all over the internet. Okay, he says that. Let me see if I can find it.
This guy, obviously, he's already made his mind up. He says it right here in this video. He will not show up to another protest without being armed. Now, you and I, as intelligent individuals, we understand that that means he should never show up to another protest again. But is that going to stop him? Absolutely not. And so when they're saying these individuals actually believe in their heart of hearts that we are under martial law tyranny, complete crackdowns against freedom, the Constitution is null and void. That's their belief system because that is what they are being brainwashed with by either media.
No, that's what they see is going on in front of their face. And the reason Skeletor it hasn't affected him in that way yet. If you're on the left, you can see clearly what is going on. If you're on the right, you're like this, hey, they're finally doing something. That's going to happen to you in a minute because you're next, okay? That means you're stupid. You can't see that what's happening to them, right? You're saying, oh no, what they're doing is right. Even though they're breaking the law, what they're doing is right. No, they're going to break the law on you too, stupid. Okay, so, and that's the right. The right is stupid like that, is what it is. So, I'm looking for him saying that this has gone all over the internet. How many people are using this this clip right here? All right. If they didn't want that clip all over the internet, they could easily stop it. No, they want that clip pushed, right? Because that is taking things to this next level. You don't have a choice. Going back to what I said in the beginning, here's what the brothers are saying. The men of the Lord are out there saying, it doesn't matter if it's a psyop or not. Here's where we are. Okay? So, if you're paying attention, people now are riding around with a pistol in their lap. People are packing, whether they have a permit or not, according. See, if let's read 2 Corinthians 2:11. All right, we know what the hell is going on. All right, they have escalated this shit to the next level. 2 Corinthians 2:11. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Let me get it. Wow. I hope I can get it. Google. What am I looking for? 2 Corinthians 2. I need 11. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. It simply means that we know what he's up to. Okay? All right. Number one, we know because we stay looking. We stay studying this devil like he stays studying us. Number two, because we're being given spiritual information, spiritual cues, right? Just like the Spirit came to me and said, there's something about Minnesota where the people are raised to be biracial and you know, it would be very easy to run a psyop, an operation on them because of how they were socialized in the Twin Cities, if you will. I'm sure that it's going to come out that this is a big center for brain for MK Ultra, for testing and actual operations and things of that nature. If you don't understand that George Floyd was a whole operation, there's nothing I can say to you. And now we have it happening again. Same thing, same place. Oh, right there in the same place. Really? We're veterans at this. We were doing this before we came into the truth. Some of us, you understand? We were on geopolitics, and I remember looking at Princess Diana when it happened. And the Pont d'Alma Tunnel, and there was something wrong. It was a ritualistic spot. I was doing that in 97. Okay, came into the truth in 08 proper. All right, that's 10 years. at least. You understand what's being said? All right, so we know how these things work. Okay, murder by numbers and all that shit is real. These devils are real. All right, you'll come to know. Hey, when you see this shit spiral out of control, right? This been going on. They've been sacrificing babies to Molech since the beginning. That has never stopped. It's just about to be exposed and brought out into the open, which is what they want, right? They want to be able to get down the way they get down in everybody's face and not have to hide it anymore. And they believe that this is their opportunity to do so. Anyway, I know I'm talking a lot. I feel the need to sum it all up, if you will, right? Because I'm sure that the fear is beginning to grow. Number one, all you got to do is fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Don't fear what this devil, the so-called white man, is about to do, right? Don't fear. He's about to be the biggest devil he could be. That's going to happen. Understand, the world as you know it is over. Okay, so if you're looking for and longing for normalcy, you've already lost. If you're looking to surf the chaos, you gotta surf it, right? You gotta get on, oh, here it comes. You gotta see that wave coming. See that wave? You get up on it, get up, you stand up on that mud, and you try to get down in the curl, right? And get on top of it. You got to get on top. Know that it's coming and it's going to be rough. But if you're not trying to surf it, you're dying in the undertow. Look that one up. Now you get on top of a wave of destruction and you ride that mug. Okay? Being in the secret place, and don't go out and start shit or get involved in anything. Know how to disappear. What are your strengths? Okay, humility, humbleness. What does it mean to be humble? It means to get within yourself, to be unnoticed, to disappear. Okay. Think disappear. Well, what am I going to disappear? The Most High going to allow me to disappear? Be quiet. Lower your observance footprint. All right. That's strange. Anyway, the frequency of truth, right? We have to hold on to it. As it grows, it's growing. You have to grow with it, right? And you, right, should be comforting those around you with your level of comfort. Now, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you're going to be comforted. Meaning this, okay? You're going to have a look of contentment on you. Yeah, well, I'm catching hell. It's what I do. I specialize in catching hell, so that it's not going to look like you're catching hell like everybody else. You're going to have a look of, of assuredness, contentment. You're not like, nigga, how come you ain't worried? Right? Right now, I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, you ain't acting right. You ain't acting like you worried. Like, you better act like you worried. All right? You must not know. Let me bring you up to speed on what's going on. I'm worried, but not in a, not in a scared sense, but in a anxious. I'm anxious for this thing to, see, because these little skirmishes and shit like that, wait till we get in this thing. Knowing where it's going, knowing how great the chaos is going to be. This ain't shit. And these little skirmishes and just getting started. Before a fire, you got to see some sparks. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark. You can't start a fire without what? You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Right? You can't start a fire without a spark. We're in the spark right now. Okay. The fire ain't even started yet, but here's the spark. Oh, we can't go nowhere without a gun. That's the spark. And then the kindling, once it just starts, you gotta blow on a little smoke come out and it starts to catch. Right? And then you like start nigga like get the fingers out and then it starts to get a little big and you gotta step back. You gotta step back because it's getting big, right? Well, we're at the spark right now. And it's not gonna, everything's speeding. I heard the elder apostle say this yesterday. Everything's speeding up. Everything is speeding up. I remember him saying, this is years ago, everything gonna speed up. When we get there, everything gonna speed up. And he would say that specifically about the hour of temptation. We're not there yet. We're getting close. How fast will it be going? If everything's gonna speed up when we get to the hour of temptation, and things are speeding up right now, we're almost out of here. He said that too. We're almost out of here. We might be out of here in 2026, which is now. If we might be out of here in 2026, that means that this shit could go down next week. It won't, because we got to get to the hour. We got to get to the forcing of the sea hip. But could it happen in a couple of months? The way things are happening here. So that has to be taken into consideration. What did the man say? It could happen in 2026. 2026 is in 2 weeks. And through the rest of the year, this year. And then he said 2027. That's January the 2nd. Which would be less than a year away. Understand? And in between that year, kind of fucking chaos is going to go in that little bit of time? A whole lot. So we're here. What should you be looking for? What should you be looking like right now? You should be looking for comfort. What kind of comfort? Well, the comforter, right? Just not having to undergo what you're about to watch people undergo. It's going to be horrific. That combined with the fury of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Yeah, you're going to be starving and all that, but what you going to be thinking? What's going to be going on in your mind? While the Most High is plaguing your mind. This is a different kind of, I'm just starving. That's one thing. I'm worried about not eating. I'm worried all of the things about not eating. But what about that whole plague going on too? And not just hunger. There are other things that you're being plagued with and plagues. I'm going to plague your mind here with plague. All right? The plague of the mind, the plague of the heart, right? The plague of leprosy, the plague of itching. Oh, shit. Anyway. Oh. Hey, if you're not covered by the blood of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, dude, you're in trouble, man. You're in trouble. And it's our time to laugh, too. Those of you that have stood so stiffly and are going to let no man take your crown, no belly laughing yet, but you can give a little chuckle and refocus, right? Stay on post. All right, we're almost the hell out. So, I mean, I know I've talked a lot. That's the spirit. When we get out, Salakia. I mean, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I feel good about it. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. The spirit or the frequency of truth. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High, keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Philippians 2 and 12. Phil. Oh, Philly. Philly G. Philippians 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right? So, just want to be comforted. So, maintain your righteousness. Fight these demons, right? Make yourself invisible. Right? Abide in the secret place of the Most High. Right? Stay humble. All right? So with that, we face the east. Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Hashem Without with honors to the other apostles and other bishops, the great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful like tabernacle of David. All right, Shabbat Shalom, you. Shabbat Shalom. We'll do this right this time. Shalom.